wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken. Uh-oh.
To be honest, the Technolade cameo is better than Rachel Zegler's entire career, or at least her previous one. Because she has not only ruined her own career with her disrespectful remarks about the original Snow White movie, but it also looks like a disaster for her now that Jack Black is allegedly confronting her behind the scenes. Still, it feels good to say that. Anyway, enough yapping, let's get started, and I promise you that you'll want to stay because this one is insane. Let's talk about Minecraft, a movie that is based on a game where the main objective is to hit trees until you get a house. Despite critics' predictions that it would be a flop, audiences showed up and showed out. Kids were screaming in theaters like it was a rock concert, parents were laughing, and teenagers were showing up in full suits. It evolved from a film into a fall-in event, a celebration of inventiveness, nostalgia, and unadulterated pleasure. The hilariously happy, crowd-pleasing adventure that was full with references was precisely what the Minecraft movie promised. Easter eggs and a clear knowledge of what made the game unique. Well, it's geared toward kids, but it didn't try to teach them a lesson or speak down to them. It simply asked, hey, wanna have fun for 90 minutes? And it was widely acknowledged that Jack Black had a key role in that achievement. The man is essentially a chaotic Minecraft tutorial NPC who leads characters and viewers alike through the blocky madness in the film. However, he did it with such passion and heart that even the corniest one-liners, first we mine, then we craft, might go down as the year's weirdest cultural reset. He sang, joked, made kids laugh, made adults smile, and behind the scenes, he might have dropped the biggest truth bomb in Hollywood. This part is still just a rumor that I've seen circulating online and on YouTube, but it's gone viral, so it's practically entered legend status. According to behind-the-scenes reports, Jack Black allegedly confronted Rachel Zegler during the Snow White press tour. He asked her bluntly if calling critics trolls was really helping her. Instead of yelling or screaming, he asked calmly if it was a wise move to alienate the fan base. This is said to have been the moment when things fell apart. Whether the confrontation actually happened or not, people clung to the idea because it symbolized something real. One actor tried to protect the audience connection, while another seemed to treat that audience like an inconvenience. And now we go back to the Snow White movie's demise, which, by the way, should have been an easy win for Disney. Instead of honoring the legacy, they try to reinvent it completely, not update it, not modernize it with care, just rip it apart and tape it back together with a completely different message from the beginning. Rachel Zegler was out there mocking the original in interviews, calling the 1937 movie outdated, and mocking the idea of a prince saving a princess.
Cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
The famous statement, "People always come see me no matter what," followed. Yes, that did age like milk.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
It wasn't just a bad movie. It became a visual representation of all the problems with contemporary remake machines, and the backlash wasn't limited to the usual suspects. Instead, viewers responded with memes and mocking videos of Reduce sitting by himself in empty theaters on the day of its premiere, surrounded by a sea of empty red seats. Even devoted Disney fans, the type who still cry at the first lines of "When you wish upon a star," were hoping for enchantment rather than perfection, and what they received felt more like a lecture about why magic is out of date. Behind the scenes, there was mayhem. According to reports, Disney executives were rushing test screenings, cutting entire scenes weeks before the premiere, ordering reshoots in a frenzy, and activating damage control. Bob Iger was even supposedly asked how a billion-dollar intellectual property become a billion-dollar nightmare. In the meanwhile, the Minecraft Film 1 was a family-friendly, light-hearted adventure that understood its audience, and the other was a joyless rebrand with the emotional depth of a student presentation on cacti. The thing is, audiences don't hate change. They don't hate modern values. They hate when stories lose their soul to chase a message. A movie with no legacy pressure and a plot that could have easily phoned it in was soaring past expectations and made it over $300 million. After 3 weeks, Snow White barely scraped past $160 million. While Jack Black offered audiences joy, Rachel Zegler brought them tension, and Snow White felt more like a reprimanding Minecraft than a story. The contrast between the two could not be more stark. Disney could have had a billion-dollar film. They had the brand, the nostalgia, the fairy tale, but they let it all fall apart in pursuit of a message no one asked for, delivered by a star who didn't seem to care, and now they're making a movie called Minecraft where Jack Black yells about Redstone is wearing the crown instead of Rachel Zegler recovering. One actor embraced the silliness and made it shine, while the other acted like she was too good for the role that made her famous. This is why the entire story has caused such a chill. She is a young, gifted woman, and while this may be a difficult chapter for her, the lesson is greater than herself. It serves as a warning to all studios that rely heavily on intellectual property. You can't just put a legacy name on a script and expect people to come if they feel unwelcome. Sometimes, all audiences want is to watch Steve punch a zombie in the face while Jack Black sings about it. This is because what Minecraft offered most of all was sincerity, which is what Hollywood consistently lacks. Every children's movie doesn't have to convey a grand ideological movement. Instead, it needs to make the audience feel as though the filmmakers genuinely enjoy what they're producing, and more importantly, that they enjoy the audience. There's something incredibly potent about a movie that says, "Hey, we're here to make you smile." That's what Minecraft did, and the audience responded loudly. Meanwhile, Disney turned one of their most iconic stories into a symbol of arrogance, not just from one actress, but from an entire system that thinks it can steamroll fans' expectations, and still cash in that system is cracking. And Snow White might just be a film that finally forced Disney to face the music. Maybe they'll learn from this, maybe not, but either way the message is out. And let's be honest, when a movie built on 8-bit blocks meme, humor and zombie chickens manages to emotionally connect with an audience more than a Disney classic remake of a $250 million budget, you know something is off. It proves that fun isn't outdated, joy isn't cringe, and caring about your audience isn't optional. There's a real hunger for joy-driven storytelling, again, not manufactured hype or recycled messages, but the genuine spark that makes people want to go to movies in the first place. People want to feel something real. They want to be swept away, not reminded of everything wrong with the world. And Minecraft, of all things, understood that that's what makes this so wild. It wasn't a perfect film, but it knew its mission: bring people joy. Simple as that. This whole situation is a cautionary tale. Studios cannot continue to treat classic characters like clay to be shaped around social media trends. You can update a story without making fun of it, and you can elevate characters without making them into pretentious avatars for moral superiority. I don't know how to put that, but the trick is to do with love for the source and love for the audience. So what? Maybe Disney listens, maybe they keep bumping into walls until their budget finally breaks, but for the time being, it's obvious that audiences are done settling and aren't scared to devote their time, love, and money to something that truly respects them. I would appreciate hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Should Disney take a break from remakes and concentrate on new ideas? Or, at the very least, stop rewriting the ones that already work? Was Rachel Zegler unfairly blamed? Or did she self-destruct with her press microphone and too much ego?